I did go to hospital 3 times in less than 12 months for numerous black eyes, broken noses, split lips, thrown through a window, main artery cut.
In the first place, I had a wonderful man. He loved me, cared for me.
It really came upon me without any warning. It stepped from being just someone who wanted to be with you all the time to someone who was only going to allow me to be with him all the time.
Getting help was the furthest thing from my mind. It was a matter of me trying to find the strength within myself to come up with the answers or the solutions. I never thought of going anywhere for help. I never thought of telling anybody due to shame, embarrassment.
I tried to think what was the best way for me to survive. And at that time, it was better for me just to not let anybody know.
The relationship that I was in the beginning, which I thought was, starting a new life, and it was only a few months down the track that I realised I was actually in a relationship which was domestic violence. It was all verbal in the beginning, and it escalated to verbal and physical.
The relationship started off very positively. There was no physical violence until at the end, right near the end. At the beginning, it was a very positive relationship. It was a good relationship until some of the attributes, I call them attributes because they seem to be typical of perpetrators, started creeping in, like control, aspects of control, aspects of possessiveness, jealousy, which in the beginning seemed to me to be an expression of love. I mean, he would say, "Oh, don't go out with your friends tonight because I want you to stay with me."
I was used to it, and it was normal, and it was just, I could tell by his look sometimes that he was going to flip. I knew that it wasn't worth me to say anything because I knew the consequences. Occasionally I did answer back, which I was always pushed over on broken bones, and created stupid stories. When I was thrown through the window and had my main artery cut, I said I was going out the back, the dogs ran through, I fell down. I went to save myself and put my hand through a window, and where I was actually thrown through it.
When it became physical, then I was scared. And because I was scared, I was very careful how I handled him and how I spoke to him. And that's when it becomes very difficult to get away.
They all asked the same questions. I gave them the same answers. Now, if they had have said to me, because I was telling them a story, which I'm sure they were well and truly aware of, but they still asked the same questions, so I stuck to the same story. But if they had asked me straight out, is this a domestic violent abuse, I would have said yes. And that's so if they had have asked me straight out, I would have said yes, because I wouldn't have lied.
When police go to an incident, the most important thing, first off, after making sure that everyone's safe, is to establish rapport. And I think that the best way of establishing rapport is through asking questions. And if we ask the right questions, we're more likely to get a better disclosures on what really is happening in the relationship.
Family violence affects 1 in 4 women, and it affects women across cultural, socio-economic divide. You can't make assumptions about family violence. It is pervasive in our community. It's quite indiscriminate. It is like cancer.